Hey guys, welcome back to Tough Dog's Place. Thanks for coming by. Then they give you a little background information and get you up to speed on what's happened over here. The old Cougar had that marine battery in it. You might remember a video I put out 3 years ago. It was called How to Save 40 Bucks on a Automotive Battery or something. And I bought that marine grade battery and put it in the Cougar. And it lasted 3 years, but it got to where every time I went to start this thing up, I had to jump start it or boost start it. And I finally you got to remember that this car doesn't get driven very often. It pretty much just sits here all the time, and I move it when I mow, and then I put it back. And we just keep it for a spare in case something happens to the truck or something, and we need some other transportation. But anyway, I got tired of doing that, so I went and bought a new battery, and I bought an actual automotive grade battery, and put it in there, and it still wouldn't turn over. I thought, well, that's weird. It would just click. And I thought, well, let me test that solenoid. So I took a pair of pliers and jumped the two hot battery cable posts like you do. And nothing. I thought, well, that's weird. That usually always works. And then I thought, well, maybe there's something going on down at the starter. So I proceeded to go to jack it up. And it had a flat tire. And I couldn't start it. So I had to do it where it was at. And that was an all-day affair because the tires were low. It had sunk down in the soft dirt. And my floor jack, I just couldn't get a lift out of it. So I'd have to jack it up as best I could and put a board under it with a jack stand. And then lower the jack and put another board under it. And I just keep repeating that process over and over and over until I finally got it high enough that I was comfortable, for safety's sake, of getting under it and experimenting and seeing what happened. And I got underneath there. Now I just put a new starter in it a few years back too. But I didn't make a video about that because actually Pat and I were at a restaurant when it went bad, and I had to call a friend, and he brought tools and stopped at the auto parts store and got the starter motor for me and brought it out, and I put it on there at the spot and, you know, paid him his money back and that kind of thing. Anyway, it had been so long since I had done it that I'd forgotten this particular starter actually has one of those trigger wires with a solenoid attached right to the starter to throw the Bendix out. Well, I was finally up under here and got the starter all the way loose, got the bolts all the way out, and then I noticed that that trigger wire had been pulled out of the little crimp-on terminal that plugs into it, and there was frayed wires, just bare frayed wires hanging down that long with no insulation on them whatsoever. And I thought, what? So I came out of there and I got my electrical stuff, and by chance I had a terminal that I could replace on there. Cut the old ones off, crimped the new one on, plugged it in, bolted it back in, come out from underneath there, and it started right up, and it's fine. Okay. Now I still got the same issue. I got a tire that won't stay inflated. I'll show you that now, because it's flat as could be over there. You can see that it's just flat as can be. And the old girl just gently weeping, you know, sitting here just crying out for attention. But before I try to jack it up and take that tire off, I want to fix that bottle jack. So I want to check it, I want to bleed it, see if it's got air in it, and make sure it has enough fluid. So we're going to go in the shop here in a minute and do that. Let's see, what else we got? So we mowed down the garden yesterday. Apparently we're done with that for this year. And it was all grown up in weeds. It just didn't get the attention that it needed. So we mowed it all down. Or I did. Yeah. Field mice come running out of there like crazy. There's 2 or 3 of them, but still. Yeah. Alright, so there's the jacking question. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. We got some new bikes. New old second-hand bikes. My buddy Steve, he just got done moving and he asked me if I wanted them. And I said, well, sure. Looks like they both have flat tires. Other than that, they look like everything's there. And so I don't know why his kids don't want to ride them anymore or what the deal is, but he dropped them off over here yesterday. So yeah, you got bikes to play with. For either fixer-uppers and give to somebody that needs them, or parts for some project or something, who knows. The sky's the limit. Alright, so here's that jack, getting down to business. I'm going to start by bleeding. I'm just going to start by pumping it up. So that's as high as it goes, and that may be as high as it's supposed to go. It just seems like it doesn't get any movement per throw. So I'm going to bleed the air out of it. So the way you do that, take it and open this a good long way. There's 1/2. There's 1. There's 2. There's 2.5. There's 3 turns on it. And then you pump it like 20 times. So if there was any air in it, it should now be pumped out. So it did seem to help, because I got movement out at 5 more strokes than I did the first time. Alright, so for those of you that don't know how to do this, see if I can zero in on it here for you. And if it will actually focus, you can see there's oilage like debris all over this thing. So that tells me it's probably been leaking a little bit over the years, and I've had this thing for a long time. But anyway, right here is what looks like a rubber plug. It's not a screw or anything, it's just a rubber plug that's press foot down in there. I'm going to pry that out of there with a screwdriver, gently as I can without tearing it up. And I don't have any regular jack or hydraulic oil, but I'm going to use some automatic transmission fluid and see if I can top it up. Oh, I heard it hiss a little bit. Now I can see down in there, and I should be able to see some fluid in there, and I don't. So that tells me it is low. I think you can see what I'm doing. Just got my finger over the end of the straw. It's actually like aquarium tubing I'm using. Big old Harley's rolling by. I'm not getting very much on each stroke. But it is going down in there. I actually need to do this to my pipe bender too. The last time I tried to use it, it didn't want to pump. But I've known, oh, now it's full. Now I can tell it's full. And I'll zoom back in on it so you can see what I'm seeing. And of course it missed. You can see it's full. It might actually be too full. It might be too full for that cap to go down in there. Oh, no, maybe it's not full. Maybe it just had a bubble in there. So, I think I might be done here. Although every time I say that, it looks like there's room for more. I am going to pause this while I continue to mess with this because I don't know how long it's going to take me, being as I'm using such an unorthodox fashion. So, I'll be back. Okay, I believe that you can see the red down in there, which is actually up above the cylinder that's inside there. So I think that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and put that little plug back in there. And then we're going to try it. There it went. All right. Oh yeah. That made a huge difference. Now I stick it straight up. It still took just the same amount of strokes, but it actually went up. So yeah, I'm sure it needed that. Alright, and it took me about, from the time I paused the video, it took me about 10 more times of using that little tube to get enough fluid in there to where I felt like it was full. I'm going to check and see if I have enough. If I do, I'm going to do my pipe bender while I'm into that. Yeah, and I should have enough, so I'm going to set this one off to the side. Clean up the spill. And drag that pipe bender over. Here's the little terminal that came off the bottom of the Cougar. And it looks like it just wasn't crimped on real good. But I still don't understand where those 4 inches of frayed wire come from. So I did the same thing to the pipe bender. I bled it. You know, loosened this 3 times, or 3 half turns. Beg my pardon. 3 full turns, and then I pumped this 20 times. And then I turned it around, and it has a similar rubber plug in the back. And when I pulled that out, it hissed and fluid started draining out. So that tells me right there it's full. That's as much oil as it's supposed to have in it is up to that hole. So I put the plug back in it, shut it, and pumped it up. And it came all the way to the top. So maybe the last time I used it, I didn't have this closed all the time, all the way. It seems to be working fine. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this up and get the compressor out, pump up that tire on the Cougar and back it up here into the onto the concrete slab where I can jack it up and get that tire off and take it to the tire shop tomorrow on my way to work. And see if they can fix it, whatever it is. Yep, that worked. So yeah, it was kind of a long-winded story on how to bleed a bottle jack, but I gotta catch you up on all the other little things that have been going on around here, or some of them anyway. And it's good seeing you. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And stick around. You never know what'll happen next. Alright, I'll see you guys. Take care. And cheers.